Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor. Today we're going to talk about a very exclusive part of the Boy Scouts. We're going to show you some insane values on Order of the Arrow items. Let's hop over to the screen and show you exactly what we're talking about right now. So here we are with Order of the Arrow. Originally, the Order of the Arrow was not part of the Boy Scouts. They actually petitioned in like the late 20s. A gentleman named Rob Roy Price was, I guess you could say, the founder, the Baden-Powell of the Order of the Arrow. And then it was incorporated after that as part of the Boy Scouts. Now, you'll see WWW on a majority of the pieces for the Order of the Arrow. Now, the WWW people do get mixed up on this and think it's something newer related to the internet, believe it or not, but that refers to the original name of the Order of the Arrow. And the original name is in another language. I believe it's maybe a Native American tribe of some sort. Something I wouldn't even begin to want to pronounce, but these are all pricey pieces. The arrow going through it usually signifies that it's Order of the Arrow. And this one went for $3,000 basically. This is a legitimate price. Some of these go for some insane amounts of money. Back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, there still weren't a lot of Order of the Arrow. Many people in scouting never even heard of it, believe it or not. So nowadays, the Order of the Arrow is considered like a honor society for the Boy Scouts. The best, the top Boy Scouts of the day join the Order of the Arrow. Now, this next one's from 1953. This is from a conference, a conclave, a get-together, a meeting of sorts of Order of the Arrow members. So really nice example here. Another felt one, $1,914. 35 bids. Now, there's not a lot of these items out there, especially back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, so they're fairly scarce to begin with. Again, scarcity doesn't mean value, but a lot of these items go for some insane amounts of money. $1,500 for this patch here. Now, you'll see flap on here. Now, that's a flap for the top of your pocket. Some people would wear it on their shoulder as a shoulder patch as well, but they're all fine examples. There's a lot of heavy-duty collectors that really get into this sort of field here, that just buy Order of the Arrow items. Anything Order of the Arrow could hold some value. Now, this next one here is a felt sash from 1935. Now, this is a heavy collected field, so there are guidebooks and price guides for this. It's usually ex-Order of the Arrow people that buy these, or scouting and general collectors. Really fine example of a sash. $1,455, 6 bids. Many people, again, will miss this because they won't realize what that arrow means. It's the Order of the Arrow. It's usually in red and white, as you see here. Each group of the Order of the Arrows did theirs differently, so this is just a really nice example. $852, 25 bids. Here's another flat patch right here. This is from the Kamehameha Lodge. Real nice example here. I would imagine this is from Hawaii, $1,150. Now, many people don't have a clue on the value on these, so if you don't know what Order of the Arrow is or what that arrow signifies, you may just miss this. Now, here's another felt patch from 1954 Conclave Conference. And you can see it's worn, it's barely distinguishable, and it still went for $1,144. 11 bids. Real sales, all of these. These are just fine examples, even in that condition. They're that scarce. This may be the only known example from this specific conclave. Here's another patch, another flat patch. Really nice one here as well. White Feather Lodge. This is later on, obviously. It does have the Boy Scout emblem. $580 on this one. Now, paperwork from it can go as well. Anything from the Order of the Arrow can go for some good money. This one is a primo piece because it's signed by Rob Roy Price. Again, the founder, basically, or the person who brought it into the Boy Scouts back in the 20s and 30s. This is a perfect example of these. And there's more than just this one. I've seen quite a few of these show up from time to time because every person in that lodge would have had it signed by him. And he would have signed it for other people as well, too. Just a really nice example here. $518. Now, here's a real tough one, even as they say it in there. This is the Order of the Arrow Centurion Medal. It's an award for service, if I'm not mistaken, for the Order of the Arrow. And this is a 100th anniversary as well from this order. This is just a fine example of such a scarce piece. I don't think many of these are handed out at all at any given year. Maybe only just a handful for an entire year. $450 on this one. And here's another patch. This is a sash, or it would have went on the uniform, $385. This is chenille. It's a very nice looking patch as well. Many people would miss or not know what this is. There is a guidebook, as I said, and that's the only place people who aren't in the field would be able to ID this positively. They're all numbered by the book, so if you have the book, you'll know exactly which one this is. $385. Another one from that same line, uniform patch, or on the sash, $250 for this one. As you see, it has www and an arrow. That is always a giveaway on these patches. Excellent, excellent example here. Now this next one's a neckerchief. This is a satin one as well. And this says undocumented because it's not in the guide for this. Most everything is. The eagle you see or the bird you see on here is typical from the Order of the Arrow. You will see the sashes with the arrow on it with that bird and many patches with that same bird. If I'm not mistaken as well, that is a Native American emblem of sorts. So really nice example, $199. This isn't as fanciful. It's not in the guide, so that may deter some folks from buying it. I'm not sure why it only went for $199, but I would say this is fairly scarce either way. And the last item are just some paperwork, vigil and pamphlets from the Order of the Arrow from the 1940s and 50s. Now these would show up in big bulk lots of just paper items or in Boy Scout collections as well. I would always separate Order of the Arrow items and sell those separately. Now I sell dozens and dozens of items from the Order of the Arrow. I wasn't scouting, and I do have friends that do turn me on to scout stuff that does turn up. So I do have a little in than most people do on this, but they are out there to find auctions, estate sales, garage sales across the board. It's a field that you can make some good money on. Boy Scout stuff in general is collected, but this is a little step above. This is like a subset. It's a specialty area, just like Sea Scouts and things along that line. It's just a really fine example of early Boy Scout collectibles. But that's what I have for you today. Well, there you are. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.